The story of this forgotten senator, William Langer, and the accused seditionists he so loudly supported in Washington, that is part of my new podcast that just launched today. It's the story of members of Congress who are implicated in just some terrible stuff, senators and members of the House both. And when the Justice Department tried to act in the courts, when the Justice Department pursued an investigation and brought a criminal prosecution of people who were involved in plots to violently overthrow the government, these members of Congress sprung into action to save themselves and derail the investigation into these threats to throw out the results of a presidential election, to violently overthrow the U.S. government, to have an authoritarian government here instead of a democracy. It all happened. I mean, January 6th, 2021 was really something. And the members of Congress who were tied up in it, and the sedition trials that have just started this month for these pro-Trump paramilitary groups who were part of it. It's an amazing thing that we are going through as a country right now. But this is not the first time we have been through something along these lines. And I can tell you, spending all these months working on this project, working on this story, I don't think it's a spoiler to tell you that one of the main takeaways for us, at least one of the main takeaways for me, looking at what happened last time that we were up against something like this, is that the criminal law can't do everything. I mean, we can't ever count on it all being settled in the courtroom. When the country is up against rising authoritarianism and election denialism and extremist ultra-right groups that are willing to use violence against everyone else to get their way, those are crimes. And there definitely is a role for the courts and for the prison system, right? But there's also a really important role for everything else, for a whole of society response. I mean, the criminal justice system isn't bulletproof, but it also doesn't address the nature of those crimes in their totality. And so in order to effectively combat fascism, in order to effectively combat rising authoritarianism, particularly when it comes to trying to undo elections and trying to have power be both achieved and maintained in this country by some means other than democracy, when it comes to threatening force as the way of seizing power here, there is not only room, there is a necessity for a whole of society response, for everybody to do something, for activism, for journalism, for political organizing to keep those folks away from real power. Anyway, like I said, it can be, I see a way in which you learn, like we've been through something like this before, and that can be enervating, that can be draining. God, like, are we ever going to get away from this? On the other hand, knowing that we faced it before, and we've effectively faced it before, and there have been Americans before us who had great ideas about how to outflank and defeat those forces, that to me is energizing and interesting. And it's a story I've been desperate to tell for months now. I have been working on this for months, and it's out today. It's free. You can get it anywhere you get your podcasts. The title is Rachel Maddow Presents Ultra.